Welcome, friends. My name is Joel, and this is the O2 Drop. This is WA's VGC podcast coming from Perth, home of Australia's best regional championship. Tonight, I'm joined by Ethan.
I've been here the whole time.
You have Mark.
I have been here the whole time because this is my house.
And Chris.
What was the pause for? I am also here. I don't want to be. I got food prep to do, but I'm here. And also, can I just say, before we move on to new topics, I would like to congratulate you on getting the Hahn brothers on last week's episode. That was awesome.
Thank you. All credit should go to Aaron Cole.
No, we don't want to give him Aaron Cole any credit.
Organised it with their mum. So thank you.
Last week's podcast was literally a play date.
Yeah.
It's like my dad's going to talk to your mum and organise something, and then you're going to come over and talk to us on Discord.
And to all the children listeners of the O2 Drop in WA, please
Why do
take
your
note
parents let you listen to this film?
that and also please take note of how Kevin Hahn and Christopher Hahn conduct themselves because the kids of the Perth Meta could really use some discipline and some respect.
They could.
Chris, have you lost to another child again?
We're not talking about it. Anyway, what were we talking about first, Joel?
I was going to say, we could tell them to be nice and respectful, but they do consistently beat us. So,
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself.
so big weekend for Pokemon. There were 2 regionals, and we had a cup and a challenge, which I think is way bigger than the regionals.
We did.
Absolutely.
Our 9-person Masters PC on Sunday was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Massive. We did have a bigger cup on Saturday. I believe Peter took that one out.
Yep. Peter Vowles, friend of the show.
Peter,
Friend of the show?
who did Peter verse in finals?
I wasn't there. I was at a bachelor party.
It was Masayoshi Kuro, right?
Yeah,
Masayoshi.
it was. It was
Nice.
Kuro, yeah.
We say it was in Perth, but it was actually in Rockingham, and that's like a 45-minute drive south of Perth, and I'm just really busy. You know,
Yeah,
It is still part of our metro, though.
no, according to Pokemon, not according to me.
This is how Perth gets the title of longest city in the world, is because we have other cities 45 minutes south of it, but we're just like, this is still Perth.
This is Perth, yeah.
We just consume a whole bunch of countryside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So congrats to Peter and Kuro. I'm not sure if we've actually spoken about it, but we're working on doing the O2 Drop Championship.
The Invitational.
The Invitational. The
Can
O2 Drop
panelists
Invitational.
be in that?
Well, you got to earn points.
If you win a cup or come in first or second at a challenge, other way around.
Yeah. So you got to win a challenge to earn a point or come first or second at a cup, which means...
It's all right, Chris. You can commentate.
When are we backdating this till? Like 2018?
No, for the 2024 season. So Ethan, you're on the board.
Yes.
Potentially part of the Invitational. Top 8 point getters.
Tell the audience why I'm on the board, Joel.
Well, Ethan, I believe you won a challenge.
That is correct, Joel.
Yes, he beat me in the process.
And me.
Yeah, congratulations. You and your pesky misty terrain.
Correct.
Pesky
Misty
Grimstar,
terrain, yes. Is that your misty terrain to prevent Ursaluna popping off?
No, it's prevent Sneasler.
Yeah, Ursaluna, Amoonguss, Sneasler, among other things. The secret tag.
Would you like to share all of your sauce, or would you just like to brag that you won?
I'm in 2 minds because I might bring it to regionals or I might want to bring something more interesting. It was a very good team, but it was a very gross team. I think I will talk about it.
Well, you did go 6-0, so it was obviously perfectly
It
gross.
was absolutely everything went right for me for once. I got enough sleep the night before. It was that
Perfect start.
was the real secret sauce. You know?
I'm actually... Would I talk about Pokemon who are on your team, or can I mention something?
Yeah, absolutely.
It really frustrates me losing to Serena because I don't like that Pokemon. And I don't think it's good and never have. But the people like you and the Sliff of the world that like just pander to the Serena. You've been pandering to Serena for generations now. Like you were playing her
I
last.
call it pandering. I use it because it's a good Pokemon. Sliff, I don't know why he uses it.
Because he's got a fetish.
Ethan, do you want to stop eating popcorn while you're being interviewed?
Nah, keep going, King.
It's tasty.
Tell us about your run and your team.
Absolutely. So, Misty Terrain Grim, as you heard. So, it was a screens team. I kind of consider it's sort of a retrofit of a team that I brought to Melbourne at the beginning of the year, which was Regulation Set D. It was a screens annihilate team.
Nice.
Very similar to Mouse Ape, but without the self-proc in the traditional sense. Just the idea was make Ape as bulky as possible, just full spit F spread, get the screens up, set bulk up, and just live every single hit.
So just to fact check real quick, Melbourne was Regulation F, I believe.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah, Bolt was around, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I lost track somewhere in the middle there.
I mean, not many of us played Reg D or E, so you're forgiven.
But no, I brought Grimsnarl Annihilate then too. And coming into Reg H, I sort of realized that a similar kind of team comp would work quite well in the lower power level format. Like, there's still a lot of big boomy stuff floating around, but you can get away with that sort of stuff a lot easier. So I set up the Grim and the Ape with just a Rainbridge setup. So that's Pelipper and Archaludon for those who don't know. The Pelipper had a very, very cool tech. Instead of running Wide Guard or Tailwind, as a lot of people do, I decided to run Soak.
Nice.
Which is very, very good to combo with.
I love and hate that.
Yeah. So it combos very well with the Electroshot from Archaludon, obviously. Yeah. And for the rest of the team, the sixth slot was very, very flexy. I kind of went through a whole bunch of things. But the fifth slot, as mentioned, I ran Serena. And there were a bunch of very good reasons for that. Obviously, Queenly Majesty comes in very, very handy when it comes to ensuring that Grim gets his screens up with Fake Out flying around and Priority getting up before the Reflect and things like that. It's also a really, really good pick because of Triple Axle.
Wide lens triple axle.
Wide lens triple axle and wide lens power whip. So power whip obviously combos quite well with Soak. And triple axle. So I mentioned before that there was no kind of self-procking on the team for Archaludon Stamina and for Rage Fist. I realized pretty early on that you can just like side target a triple axle and get like 3 stacks on your Rage Fist, which is really, really funny. So.
And most people wouldn't expect that out of a Serena.
No.
Well, in our third game, Ethan, you decided that you wanted to get bonus style points and tried to get a +9 Rage Fist by triple axling your own Annihilate. But before we all had to correct you, would say it doesn't go +6 Rage Fist.
Yeah, I had to look it up on Boba Peter. I was very disappointed.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it only tops out at 350 base power. Mm-hmm. Terrible move.
Dreadful.
Awful move.
You had to be sure though, because you're up against like a 60% HP Sneasler with no resist to Ghost. You know,
hey,
it could have
pretty
lived.
bulky.
Like, what else was I going to do? Click triple axle at it?
Maybe.
It might have got
Then
the job
Rage
done.
Fist would have hit for less damage. But no, the sixth slot was just an Incineroar because I felt extra damage control. And I needed something for Dozo because like that team comp just can't really handle that. It just kind of overwhelms everything before you can get too many stacks on Rage Fist. So I just considered Intimidate, Parting Shot, Wisp. It just kind of made sense. I went through a bunch of other things like Amoongus and other things, various hazes, Primarina, but I think Incin works the best because it's just extra damage control to stack on top of the screens. So yeah, very, very fun team. Like a lot of very techie, weaselly things that you can do that sort of to make backwards kind of plays. Like Grimsnarl is surprisingly pretty potent as an offensive piece with Spirit Break because everybody kind of leans into the protect the queen thing and tries to double the ape to get rid of it and stuff like that. And you can just protect Spirit Break and get some chip on some dragon. It's great.
Nice. Very good shit.
Yeah. It also has an incredible matchup into Spam. I think the only reason I won the other day was because I ran into Brendan Roberson twice, once in Swiss and once in finals.
Was he running size spam?
Of course he was.
Brendan, if you're listening, mate, you've been bringing the same tired team now for like 2 years. It's time to move on.
Yeah. People are starting to counter build.
Like I say, isn't the saying though, you know, don't fear the man who has practiced 10,000 punches, fear the man who's practiced one punch 10,000 times?
Yeah. Bruce Lee, I think it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's pretty close to 10,000 times on that one punch. So,
yeah, that's very true. And
Bruce Lee never played Pokemon.
what do you mean? There's literally a Pokemon named after him.
Yeah.
Meet Monley for those playing.
I'm not sure what point you're trying to make.
Neither am I.
And what team did you lose with this weekend, Mark?
I didn't lose. I came in top 4.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
9
he did
people.
lose to me.
Nice.
Same thing I've been running for the last while, to be honest. Cleavor Tech.
Nice.
I still think it's good. It's just
The thing that can't
It
kill
is
its all
good.
goal.
So
one day someone will
it can
break.
kill Incineroar.
One day
Nice.
someone will break.
That's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Cleavor. I like it shiny.
Did you have any Stone Axe misses?
Too many.
Oh.
So many.
Was it AV?
Clear Amulet.
The clam.
Is it? But like, how much are you want to set Stealth Rock, or are you wanting to do damage? Because I feel like you could just run Wide Lens max, and just if that's your mission.
That's true. Yeah. One game I lost because the Stealth Rocks wasn't up, which meant Pokemon had its Focus Sash intact, which meant I couldn't take it out in time and lost. I did feel over the weekend that the Stealth Rocks from Stone Axe are actually insanely valuable.
Yeah.
Like it punishes consistent switching. Things like
Incineroar.
Incineroar taking 25% at a time.
Jesus.
Popping sash on stuff like Pelipper.
Yeah, popping sash and dealing 25% to Pelipper is just, it's gorgeous. It's really, really handy.
I know this is not your style because we all know that Mark the Meat Murray is very zoom and boom, 252. Have you thought about like some sort of prankster gravity cheese so that it doesn't miss ever?
That sounds dreadful.
Oh man, I should consider that actually. I've been running a team with gravity on it. I won't give up the nature of the exact tech. But
What is the fastest non-prankster gravity user?
Good
I
question.
haven't looked in.
That's not a Paradox Mon because
Gonna say
Iron
it.
Crowns
Yeah,
is...
yeah.
Why would it need to be non-prankster?
I'm just like, just if you want to fast...
Meowstic and Sableye both get it, and they both get Fake Out too, so it's pretty...
Sableye's slow as fuck, though.
I'm just running on Trick
But it's
Room. Stuff like
plain stuff.
Clefairy gets
You
it.
can also run
true.
Hydrapple Super Sweet Syrup, but it's only a single... It's very gimmicky. I wouldn't recommend it. It's too slow.
I hate that they got the Intrepid Sword
Yeah.
treatment, but
We're still upset about that. Please fix that, Game Freak.
fix it for Gen 10 and make sure it doesn't get Dexited because that is a dope Pokemon.
You can also run Illumise Prankster Sweet Scent.
Fastest gravity user, by the way, is Espeon at 110 speed. Technically, the fastest is Minior at 120 after Shields down procs.
I didn't realize it got gravity. That's cool.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. It's a meteor.
Its whole existence is because of gravity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Chris, what about yourself? What did you attempt to...
So I had a team crisis and I was still EV training shit literally an hour before the tournament started. I was writing my team sheet when I got there, having just finished the team just before I left the house. I had like 5 and it was the 6th slot that was killing me. I was up all like literally lying in bed all night thinking about it, like just doing calcs, running. At one point, I'm not going to tell you some of the saucy options I was thinking because it's a waste of time. But and there's something that really frustrates me because we're going to talk about what happened at Dortmund and the usage stats in a second, but there's been so much Dragapult Sneasler cores in a lot of in various formats the last couple of weeks, and
there will be so much more.
And there'll be
following
so
Dortmund.
much more, and it's such a good 2 Pokemon core for various reasons. And the frustrating thing is that I've been playtesting with this, building so many different teams with this core before Dortmund, before the global. I brought it to the Grand Challenge. I brought it to the PC on Sunday. I even before Baltimore, I was playing this, and everyone else is having so much success with it apart from me. And I think I'm the problem. I think it's because I refuse to run shit like Incineroar, Moongus, Rillaboom, stuff like that. So I always try and use this core with other more creative options. That's probably my problem.
Yeah.
But it is. So I brought Choice by Dragapult, Focus Sash Sneasler with Poison Touch, and the Diaclaw. Apart from Ethan's matchup, he didn't no RNG in that, but everyone else I did a lot of poison and sleep.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Which is very satisfying. I love having the RNG in your favor. I think that's I don't know why people are only cottoning onto Diaclaw now. It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess the power level is the right now for it is good. I had my beloved Tyranitar. I don't know. You probably all saw my tweet about a month ago with my new Tyranitar plushie,
Yes.
and I said that I would never not bring Tyranitar to a Regage team again.
And
My
you
bestest bud. I did know I brought him.
Okay.
It was Tyranitar, slowish, bulky, full bulk like Tyranitar. Talonflame with safety goggles not to break the gale wings in the sand.
Nice.
And
Clever.
Thank you. What else did I have? You played it.
Yeah.
Farad Giraffe was the last minute. It was like so I could play a Trick Room option. It was very aggressive throat spray. It was I don't think Farad Giraffe is actually that good at the moment, to be honest. I just threw it on there because I wanted something special attacking and could set Trick Room.
It's really good with Power Lens.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Oh, for the speed?
For the speed, yeah. Phil's team that I took to the GC. Points, baby!
Oh, and Goldengo. I think was the last one. No, actually, it wasn't Goldengo. I don't know. It didn't do well. I did 2-2 and then it didn't make top cut. So I was very underwhelmed. And I was underwhelmed with the Grand Challenge performance. And I'm back to the drawing board and I'm now in the kitchen as we speak.
Nice. Well, I didn't take part on the weekend because my extended family, full of boomers, are all just being terrible people. So I was.
Is there any elaboration on that, or
my stepfather-in-law was cheating on my mother-in-law.
That's your problem.
Yeah, and it all came to a head on like Friday night, and then it was mine and my wife's problem to sort out. So that's why I didn't play Pokemon on the weekend.
Fantastic.
I still think you should have prioritized Pokemon.
I would have, but I value my marriage.
My other half, Andrew, invited me to go to Araloo and see the tulip the spring flowers festival thing up there, and I said no, so I go to Pokemon.
Nice.
So I prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we respect you prioritizing that. It's just a shame that Andrew instead decided to go with Joel's stepfather-in-law.
Wait, what? Wow, Perth. Classic Perth.
Classic Perth.
Or
2 degrees of separation.
That's the worst part about living in Perth is when you get cheated on, you always know the person that cheated on.
Should we talk about this pathetically small regional championship that happened in the LATAM region?
Do we have to, or can we just talk about the good one?
We're just going to touch on it because it aggravates me.
It will caress it.
We'll caress it.
Lightly caress it.
Lightly caress
The
it.
Joinville Pokemon VGC Regional Championship
Joinville.
happened
Fake name.
in the Latin American region, a region that gets 50 Masters invites this season for 2025.
To Oceania
World
is 20,
Championships.
correct?
Yeah, Oceania gets 20, so they get 2.5 times the invites that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So you would logically think that they're pulling in 2.5 times the people that we are.
Lol.
But no, they had 2/3 the attendance of Perth in 2024. We're anticipating 200 people for Perth this year.
At least.
You say this year as if the last regionals wasn't also this year.
Well, like
It's technically the 2025h Perth Regionals.
2025 season.
Wolfie will be there. That's another one. That's another number to count.
Yeah,
Perth
exactly.
in the fiscal year.
Yes.
Perth in the fiscal year. So there was 111 people. Congratulations to Gabriel Agati winning with Double Dragon, Alola Ninetales, King Gambit, Incineroar, Amoonguss.
Was it Baxcalibur? What was the other? All Ninetales. Just was it any other ice types or just set in screens?
Just screen.
What were the two dragons? Dragapult, Dragonite?
No, Dragonite, Garchomp.
Okay, yes.
Sleeping on Grimmsnarl, really.
And he versed Sebastian Escalante, who
Escalante.
who ran Garchomp, Dragonite, Alola, Ninetales, Amoonguss, Incineroar, King Gambit.
I'd love their
How
Alola Ninetales
about
down
it?
there.
It's almost like they versed
Mirror.
each other. And you know what?
They probably built the team together.
They probably did. There are no other names that I recognize in the top 16.
So it was a locals.
It was a local it was a local regional championship.
Is that a Guardi's second win, or am I imagining that?
It would be his first because there's only been
Only been a couple.
3
that's right.
regionals, yeah.
Um,
So Gabriel Agati doesn't have to play for the rest of the season, though he most likely will.
That'd be so fucking nice.
so 111 Masters. Like what was our last numbers at the Perth Regional?
158.
So I mean, let's like take into consideration that they get more participants at Worlds and they get LATAM international championships. We do not have an international championships in Oceania, even though we have more people at our regionals. It's insane, and we have less regionals too.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insanity.
Is it a geographical thing, do you think? Like
Of course it
proximity
is.
to the US? Yeah.
Of
So it's
course it
racism.
is.
Is that what you're saying? Could be.
Could be.
But you know what?
Look, we've hypothesized for a while that they're trying to get Oceania onto TPC
into
system,
the Asian circuit.
Yeah. which would be horrendous.
Yeah, not good.
But whatever.
But this is I know this is a conflicting storyline because we just said that they favor LATAM over us because they get more invites and bigger events and stuff like that. However, Paul Ruiz, a prominent VGC player, got on the Twitter webs and was having a go at Play Pokemon because apparently there's a list of LATAM countries that do not have any VGC locals or have been excluded from having them. So Bolivia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua. I've never heard that country before. Nicaragua, thank you. Panama, Paraguay, Republica Dominica, and Uruguay. None of them have got any VGC locals.
I think all of those countries are communist countries, aren't they?
Is that that's not the explanation given to us by Play Pokemon. They don't have an explanation.
I would also need to double check, but I wouldn't think all of them.
Apparently,
I feel like a lot of them are, or like military leadership.
I mean, Cuba is missing from that, and that's like the poster child for communists.
That is a fair point. Yeah.
Apparently, this starts in November. They won't have locals anymore, and they're not supposed to have them. Yeah, so it's weird. Apparently, they Play Pokemon open. Probably they went on this rant about how they've opened an office there, Play Pokemon in LATAM, but then they've gone and decreased all these regions. Maybe it is a communist thing. I don't know. But it's weird. Why do they need 50 invites to Worlds then if they've only got like one country that can participate?
Well, they've still got a lot of the Caribbean is still there, untouched.
I'm exaggerating for effect.
Yeah, I know, but
Chile, Argentina, Brazil, they're all in it.
So what we're saying is they also have a persecution complex against TPCI, but it's different for us because we have a good reason for it.
So what I'm seeing is like, so you know that very well published meme of the pool where the kids like someone's holding up a kid, there's a kid drowning, there's a little skeleton at the bottom of the pool, right?
Yeah.
So America, with their like 3 world championships in a row in America, they're obviously like being helped up and floating. And then we've got LATAM drowning and Oceania drowning. We're dead at the bottom of the pool.
Look, it definitely feels like we're being pushed out.
If Dan wasn't at Parkway Drive at the moment, I think he'd be on that.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd have a lot to say, for sure.
All right. Well, are we done with Joinville? Can we move on to the real regionals?
Yes, the real regionals of Dortmund.
I don't think that's how you say it.
Dortmund?
It probably is.
Dortmund.
Okay, sure.
Dortmund.
I forget who won. We were hoping that Michael...
It was Davide someone or other.
Yeah, we were hoping that Michael DeBest was going to win so that we could post a sick meme.
So sick.
DeBest. Yeah, Davide Miraglia. Winning team.
Sure, you
Miraglia.
nailed that.
Miraglia? David?
Miraglia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Davide Miraglia.
Well, can we just first of all say Hydreigon won a regional? Mark, you must be thrilled.
I'm so stoked. Two Hydreigon in top 8, actually.
Yep. And I'm stoked that Clefable won a regional.
I didn't
think
even.
is also very cool.
I was looking at that and I was like, I thought that was a Clefairy. No, that's Clefable.
Clefable, and Clefable's becoming really common.
It's more common than Clefairy.
I've seen a lot of it on ladder, to be honest, on like Volcarona builds and things.
Yeah, with like the King Gambit like balance with and like sometimes got Gengar and stuff on there.
There's a real theme at the moment.
Is that just
of
general dragon
what I
hate?
would call dueling redirectors, where there's like 5 or 6 or 7. There's a lot of redirectors vying for the top spot.
Electabuzz
and Magmar, really, really big. Both of them huge at the moment. One that saw a shit ton of play was Vivian.
Correct pronunciation.
Vivian. Vivian. But that saw a lot of play. It was on stream several times. I think we just missed out on getting a Vivian in top 8. Then there's obviously Mousehold. Amoonguss seems to have fallen off a fair bit, but it's still
It was still in the top 12
Amoonguss, so it's still
usage.
prevalent.
In top 4 usage of day 1
Yeah.
at Dortmund, and then it fell to 7th for day 2.
Yeah, so Amoonguss is still prevalent. I mentioned Mousehold. Well, I feel Sinister as well is also seeing play with Rage Powder. So there's, what have I just listed? 8 different redirectors.
You know what else is prevalent? Chlamydia.
We'll talk
There
about
is
that more
actually.
in the. Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially in day 2.
Yes.
After day one partying.
No, yeah, it's a bit of an epidemic in Perth.
Ah.
So if you're a young person having casual sex, make sure you get an STI screen.
And make sure you do your throat swab and swab everywhere. Rectum, mouth, bloods. Don't just piss in a cup.
Yeah.
But also just,
See your GP.
yeah.
We love giving unsolicited medical advice on this show, don't we?
We do, yeah. We're vying for a healthier Pokemon community.
Disease free.
For more, subscribe to Bottom Cut.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go into more detail about how we know that chlamydia is an epidemic in Perth.
Yeah.
Was there? So you're saying there's like 8 different redirectors. Was there any like a conclusion to that point, or was it just there's a lot of competition?
I'm just saying most teams seem to be running a redirector
Yeah.
and there's a lot of competition
Yes.
for the quote unquote best redirector.
Yeah, and Clefable and Clefairy have completely different roles though. They're both redirectors.
Oh,
but
they're
like
so
Clefable's
dissimilar, yeah.
unaware with Follow Me, and then there was one. I think did the winning Clefable have Misty Terrain, or am I imagining that?
It was
did. Had the Ethan Walters
Misty
tech.
Terrain, Follow Me, Moonblast, Protect. So it only really had like 1.5 support moves. Then it was Moonblast for dealing chip damage, Protect.
Well, it's got 95 base special attack. It's a decent chip damage.
It was
also,
doing-
it's a 95 special base attack with a 30% chance to special attack. It's a good,
Moonblast is a really good move.
crazy
yeah.
good.
I run Moonblast on my Whimsicott, and Whimsicott only has like 75 base special attack.
But it's still 2-hit KOs like any bulky dragon.
Oh yeah.
apart from that Caledon, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that fucking thing. But yeah, so it was like I said, Moonblast, Protect, and then Misty Terrain and Follow Me. Misty Terrain, I assume, in most part, to fuck over Ursaluna.
So many reasons. Okay, well, let's do the day 1, day 2 usage because it's very interesting.
I was just gonna say in the top 23 of Dortmund, which was the seeds of Top Cut, every team has a redirector.
Yeah.
Some teams have 2.
Yes.
So and yeah, it's huge. Like you said, there's Magmar, Vivian, Electabuzz, Mousehold.
So there was-
Electabuzz was like, I want to say 7th in day 2, 7th highest usage in day 2.
It was
or
up.
8th or 9th. It was it was very high.
Yeah. So the day 1 usage, no surprises for the top 4: Incineroar, Rillaboom, Goldango, Amoonguss.
Yeah.
All above 30%. Then we got Primarina, Kingambit, Sneasler, between 30 and 25. Akulodon is the only one at 22. And then under 20%, it goes Pelipper, Electabuzz, Garchomp, and P2.
Yeah.
The big changes from day 1, Rillaboom, Kingambit, and Sneasler all took about a 10% bump.
And Sneasler was 3rd highest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sneasler was, I think most teams in top 8 were running Sneasler.
Yeah. Goldango and Amoonguss dropped considerably.
Okay.
Dragapult and Electabuzz were in 1/5 of the teams in day 2.
Yeah, Dragobot wasn't even in day 1 top 12.
Now, listening to this top 12, I'm absolutely baffled by the continued prevalence of Rillaboom. Like, I get the strengths of it, like it's fake out and terrain control, but like Grass is a pretty terrible mono attacking type into all of that, unless they're all running high horsepower.
Do you know what I often wonder?
Some of them were running high horsepower, but I mean, just as someone who has previously used it, Woodhammer on grassy terrain, you don't need to be hitting for super effective.
Yeah, I
It has
suppose.
a U-turn to like pivot. It gives you like fake out cycling. But the other thing I think a lot of people don't like having to do like a hard Dondozo counter on the team. They don't want to have to squeeze Haze in somewhere, or maybe they don't want to have like an unaware niche model or something like
That's
that.
true. It's just
So
a
a lot of
big grass
people,
move.
they're out to Dozo is like, look, we'll just do like a 50-50 roll. Like I'll bring Rillaboom, set terrain, try and 2K, try and chip it down with a Woodhammer, and Earthquake is nerfed in terrain. So I think that a lot of people, it's just their Dozo out as well. That's my theory.
True.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other differences. So, Dragapult popped in at number 8. And
Scarymon.
Basculegion popped in at number 12. And then we had Pelipper, Annihilate, and P2 in top 15. So Pelipper and Porygon just popped out. They were kind of in like the top 10 anyway. And then Annihilate obviously got a big bump.
My biggest sort of observation, I thought, sort of comparing this to Baltimore, like early Reg H, it looked like that a Caledon Rain or Rain Bridge or whatever the cool kids want to call it.
Yep.
Those rain cores were like the core to beat. I would say, looking at Dortmund that Rain teams have dropped to third best core. I would say that the Dragapult Sneasler Hyper Offense would be top team to beat. The second team I would put as the P2 balance team.
Yeah. For sure.
Semi-trick room.
Yeah.
11 out of 23 Top Cut teams had Sneasler.
Yeah.
So it was super prevalent in
that's-
Top Cut.
That's another feather in the hat for Rillaboom, I suppose, is the grassy seed unburden interaction.
A lot of them aren't running
were
that
Sash
though.
Poison Touch.
A lot of them are
Touch
Sash
or-
Focus Touch.
Yeah, there's 2 ways of running. There's actually 3 ways.
Focus Sash Poison Touch.
Yeah.
But some of them were Focus Sash Unburden.
Yeah.
Yeah, top
yeah.
3 teams.
Not a whole heap of Grassy Seed. I do also want to say for Sneasler, right at the start when we were recording a podcast predicting what we think was going to be good in Rake H, Sneasler was towards my top of my list. But I'm not going to come out here saying I fucking told you so, because what I wasn't expecting was for it to be not used at all and then to suddenly spike in usage as a Focus Sash Poison Touch user in random regional.
Yeah.
As a 36% usage or something.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere with a kind of like slightly different set to what a lot of people I think would have predicted.
Well, while we're having a slight I told you so moment, when we had that episode of when Mark and I were cooking in the kitchen with Joel for Reg H predictions, I called Vivian to have a presence.
You did. And it was 3rd seed in Dortmund and also 7th seed and also 21st seed. But of the 11 Sneasler teams, 7 were Dragapult Sneasler.
It's a good call because
it's a really strong combination.
Seems like a very European tech to me because, like, I know in particular Michel Couch has been using Dragapult since he started in VGC like 2 years ago. And it's, I don't know, just kind of looking at this Dortmund regional, a lot of the same builds and sort of cores and teams do keep cropping up. There's that one team that everybody was using where it was like Primarina, Kingambit, Rillaboom, Dragapult, Sneasler, and then the flex pick of either Magmar or Electabuzz, right?
Yeah, that was really common.
There were a ton of that specific team comp, and I've never seen it before.
If you go to Lab Mouse's top 5,
4.93,
it'd be those ones.
Top 2. Yeah, so the Electabuzz, Primarina, Rilla, Dragapult, Sneasler, Kingambit, second place. Surprisingly, first place is the P2 Ursaluna Flamigo
Okay,
team, but only 0.7% above.
I think some people in this community have started calling it the American variation of the Italian team because that was the I believe it was an Italian team, except the Flamigo came in to replace I've forgotten what it replaced, but that was originally an Italian 6 that saw a lot of play.
The Italian American team
was it in the Global Challenge?
called the New Yorker.
Yeah, the Boston. No, I'm blanking, but that set of 6 Pokemon was used in Italy originally. Then the Americans took it and changed it to be Flamigo instead of whatever else it was.
Yeah,
but it is so interesting to see the meta kind of flip so drastically just so soon after even the Baltimore regionals. Like,
honestly,
there's almost no Rain. There's barely any Arcaludon. There's barely any Mouseape.
I mean, Arcaludon was still top 8.
Rain was 4th for composition. And then 3rd was the Sneasler Dragapult, but swapping Dragapult for Salamence. So probably Tailwind setting.
Yeah, and a lot of Salamence these days are special.
Yeah.
Draco Meteor, Air
Hurricanes.
Slash.
Yeah.
Air Slash for most of them.
Yeah.
Even on some of the Rain teams.
I say
Really?
Fire Blast, Hydro Pump scene as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's flex options for sure.
And then the 5th composition was a Vivian composition. So
The Vivian Garchomp sort of,
the Vivian, Garchomp, Primarina, Incin, Goldengo, and P2.
Yeah.
People forget that base 89 speed in this format is actually quite fast.
Pretty fast.
Vivian max speed, 89 speed, Compound Eyes, Sleep Powder is actually something you can't really ignore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Scary. Like, especially next to Garchomp, there's a lot of things in the format that can't take either Earthquake or Hurricane.
Yeah.
Like, Ground and Flying is a really, really potent intersection of attacking types.
I find any Pokemon that can sit next to Garchomp while Garchomp clicks Earthquake is going to be really good. And going back to your point about Vivian's speed, I feel like because they're all running Focus Sash, how often do you have two Pokemon on the field that can both outspeed Vivillon and move before one of them gets sleep powdered?
Yeah.
And I think the best answer to it was the Flamigo. Because Flamigo's one speed point faster than Vivillon, and it's got dual wing beat.
Yeah.
So I was able to take it out through the sash.
That's true.
I think that's one thing I saw a big difference between Baltimore and Dortmund was the Flamigo that we saw at Baltimore were Brave Bird. And then that got switched to dual wing beat in Dortmund.
That would have been true of Talonflame. And speaking of Talonflame, that didn't really show up much at Dortmund, did it?
Barely at all.
Not really.
Yeah.
I never saw it on stream.
I'm actually looking at the day two, the top cuts of 23 teams. There was a lot of sort of frustration from Americans on Twitter about this. Actually, they screenshotted all the top cut teams and said Europeans can't build teams. You know, Europe has no team builders. And I think their point is that a lot of it's either influenced by other regions or like if you look at all the teams on top of each other in the top 23 teams. It actually looks like there's like maybe 2 or 3 different teams repeated over and over and over again. I think that the Sneasler sort of those Sneasler teams, there's so many like Caesar Rillaboom, Dragapult, King Gambit, Primarina, and then Electabuzz or Magmar. So many of those on here. The Flamigo P2 Ursaluna team, there's like so many of those. And I'm like, okay, are they all just friends and they all beat these teams together, or did they just miraculously all come on the same ideas?
Yeah, I mean,
from the talks I've had with, friends who are consistently at the top of the showdown ladder, like we're talking, top 100 people.
Kieran Singh.
Yeah, I'm talking about Kieran Singh.
Friend of the show.
You kind of like once you get up to there, you play the same people a lot of the time and you see a lot of the same teams over and over. And that kind of like top 100 there tends to kind of become a bit of a, I don't want to say echo chamber, but like kind of like a lot of like bouncing off one another.
Yeah.
And like
It's a meta onto
kind of
itself
like
up there.
inadvertent collective team building because, I might run a team and Ethan, you might see it and think, oh, that thing you're doing is really good. So you incorporate that into your team. You'll use that. And then someone will see kind of something that you're doing and they'll kind of copy that. And you kind of like
There's
get
this
that
ripple
bouncing
effect.
around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think with Dortmund, it's almost no surprise that the top cores of 4 were Prim, Rilla, Sneasler, King Gambit, Electabuzz, Prim, Rilla, Sneasler, Electabuzz, Prim, Rilla, King Gambit, Electabuzz, Rilla, Sneasler, King Gambit. Like
it's just the same
same
Pokemon
4,
just
so-
jumbled around.
Yeah, so when you say like it looked like it was pretty much just 2, 1 or 2 teams, it is pretty much fact because if you look
Yeah.
at like the core Pokemon and just what was changed, like I think even the top 3, if a top 3 seeds for Top Cut, they had the same core, and it was just their flex that was changed. So
Yeah, just the redirector changed.
yeah, so one had Dondozo and Magmar, the other one had Magmar and Prim, and then the other one had Vivillon and Arculodon. Otherwise, they all had Rilla, Dragapult, Sneasler, and King Gambit.
Actually there was a bit of a rise of Dondozo no Tatsugiri.
Yeah,
The old
yeah.
Yawn.
Dozo,
I think there was
Yawn
one in
Fisher?
top 4.
There was Fisher Dondozo.
Dondozo.
The Fisher into Focus Sash Sneasler to take it to Sash was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on stream.
It seems like a poor use of Fisher. Like at least you got
Yeah,
Sandstorm
right. Like
chip.
just wave crash it, right? Like, but at least it connected
That's true.
At least it connected.
and no recoil.
One thing I did
They're
notice.
onto something. Yeah.
One thing of variation I did notice was the Terra of the Dragapults do fluctuate. The most common one I saw was Terra Dragon.
Terra Dragon, yeah.
There was Terra Ghost. Maybe that's I was running Terra Fire on the weekends.
Yeah, Terrify was interesting.
because it's such a the 3 dominant, especially Goldengo and King Gambit. Usually if you just run Phantom Force, Dragon Darts, and U-Turn as your other 3 attacks, right? None of those Pokemon have to fear you at all. But if you go Terra Fire, Terra Blast, it does one hit pretty much everything. Obviously, Arcalodon still tanks it, but that was that was my theory. But and also because they were running Terra Dragon and Outrage, and I'm just so nervous about because it's choice banded, right? You're locking in. You do Terra Dragon, you're burning your Terra, you're locking into Outrage. I guess you have to just make sure you've eliminated all the fairy types, but like
Everyone has a Prim.
Everyone has like a Terra Fairy something, or I just get so nervous locking in an outrage.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't trust that move.
3/4 would Terra Dragon
Okay,
at Dortmund.
Yeah.
So.
and that's what I'm doing wrong.
Just going all the way in on Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance is a great move, to be
Great.
honest.
I do want to point out something very interesting that I only actually learned watching the Dortmund stream, which is if a Pokemon clicks Rage Powder or Follow Me, as is really fucking common apparently, as we discussed earlier, if you click Dragon Darts, not Dragon Dance, into an opposing team, and one of them clicks Follow Me, if that Follow Me user dies to the first dart, there is no second dart.
Yes,
Okay,
I think I
so-
did know that. Yeah.
Also, another thing I learned on the weekend is that if you click Phantom Force and say I targeted Mark, if then the following turn, if Ethan clicks Follow Me, it will redirect the Phantom Force.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yep.
I did not know that. In that
And
shit.
the Follow Me on the turn that you click Phantom Force won't do anything.
Yeah.
Something interesting about Phantom Force actually that I have noticed is it's actually an inadvertent buff to Garchomp, because you can, if you target the Phantom Force user and the Phantom Force user disappears, your Stomping Tantrum next turn is doubled.
Ooh, okay, yep. Spicy.
And you can also abuse the Telegraph with Frost Skin and things,
Yeah.
which is
For
kind
sure.
of a bit.
I mean, it's not ideal to eat a choice band Phantom Force.
Definitely not.
No, if you don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dragapult's always been one of those ones that's kind of frustrated me a bit. Because it's got everything it needs. It's got the stats, it's got the typing. But
Everything
just
it
the
needs
move
except
pool,
a good ghost type move.
a
Yeah.
good ghost move. If that got Poltergeist, it would be smashed.
Oh yeah, it'd be fucked. I remember, and I saw a lot of choice band Dragapults popping up, and I kind of assumed that they would all be Terra Ghost, Terra Blast,
Yeah.
like they were back in Regulation C.
Seeing them all kind of doubling down on the ghost stab so strongly is interesting.
Yeah, like the fact that they're all just Phantom Force with, and they're just Terra Dragon Darts. It's like, I don't need to give myself a good ghost type move. I'm just gonna,
I'm mostly just
I'm going to
darts.
blast them with my children.
What is a resistance?
I'm very disappointed that we didn't see any Meowscarada Dragon Darts.
What?
at Dortmund. Did you not see that meme?
No.
It was a meme for the GC. We have Meowscarada with Copycat.
Oh yeah, no, I did see that one. Yeah.
But like,
Next-
does
next
it
to
like
Dragon Ball.
does it like go and steal someone else's children and throw them?
Yeah. Yeah, it throws Dreepies. It's amazing. Click Copycat and it's like Meowscarada, like protein turned into dragon type. Meowscarada uses Dragon Darts
yeah.
and shoots Dreepies.
I don't hate it. I don't hate that at all.
That's
I
pretty
actually,
fun,
I quite like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Copycat is a fun move to fuck around with. to be honest.
I should cook with Copycat Meowscarada. That's very funny.
But run it with like Oricorio Volcarona.
Don't give me dance and meme ideas. You know, it's dangerous.
Copycat is very, very fun when you put it next to Oricorio.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I like that.
Oricorio uses Revelation Dance. Then
copycat
Meowscarada uses
Revelation Dance.
Copycat to copy Revelation Dance. And then
And then
Oricorio
Oricorio
uses
uses
Revelation
Revelation
Dance.
I like it. Revelation Dance is defenses. No, it's special attack and speed, right? Special attack, special defense.
No, Revelation Dance is the attack.
Just the attack.
It's the it's the damaging move.
Oh,
Revelation
not
Dance
Quiver
is
Dance.
the special attack move that deals damage.
Yeah.
Quiver Dance is the one that's special attack, special defense, and speed.
nice.
Which you can also copycat
Yes, you can.
for that same interaction.
Then Victory Dance is the equivalent except attack, defense, and speed, which
And that's
is an
Hisuian
exclusive to
Hisuian
Hisuian
Lilligant.
Lilligant.
Yes.
But that's a dancing move, so Dancer can copy.
Yeah.
Still, yep. If it's got dance in the name, Dancer can copy it. And sometimes if it doesn't have dance in the name, Dancer can
Aquastep.
copy it. Like Aqua Step, like Clangorous Soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
That one's so funny. And a few others as well that are really weird. But yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, back to Dortmund for a second. I mean, I've been kind of like wondering what impact this is going to have on the meta, because like obviously it will on the one hand, but on the other, I kind of got the sense looking at the teams and looking at Baltimore and the American reaction to this regional Dortmund, and it gave me the sense that the European meta is extremely insulated from the American one. at the moment, and potentially from the rest of the world as well, insofar that there is a meta anywhere else. But yeah, it just kind of gave me the sense that the Europeans were very much doing their own thing separate to the Americans, and like there might be a little bit of interplay and bleed between the two now that we've seen both regionals, but that there's still a lot of kind of give in this format, a lot of variety, like not just in teams, but between regions and between different formats and metas and sort of, what's the word? Disciplines of play and team building.
Not to start an international, fight.
Fuck, here we go.
But I actually think I prefer the European meta. These teams are much more interesting.
Yeah. I agree with that as well.
Look at all the top cut Vivians. And actually, while I think of that, I'd like to give a shout out to Wolf Glick because this is actually a positive Wolf Glick comment from me. You don't get those very often because yeah, exactly. I watched the most recent Beast Coast sports video, and he was only one of the 4 presenters that correctly pronounced Vivian the correct way. And I didn't expect it from him.
Beast Coast Sports.
Beast Coast, what are they called? Beast Coast. Is it Beast Coast Sports?
I thought they were just Beast Coast.
Whatever. You know the Beast Coast with like Cybertron and Necro and James Beck, fuck you.
The other Pokemon podcast.
The other Pokemon, yeah. So he pronounced it correctly. I'd like to give shout out to Wolfie for that.
I mean, the Sierra and Joe Brown podcast I find more entertaining than
I
Beast
didn't
Coast.
realize there was one.
Okay. It's recommended by us on Spotify.
I might check it out.
Yeah.
And then maybe they can give us a shout out.
We're working on it.
Speaking of Wolf Glick, I don't want to get my hopes up, but Elon Musk tweeted that tweeted. I know he tweets a lot. He tweeted that, and then he put it. No. He tweeted that apparently blocking people on Twitter is against the First Amendment or some shit, and it's against like freedom of speech. And apparently, as of December, they're going to be removing all blocking features from Twitter.
Which
So if
is
this is
just
true-
a fantastically bad idea.
Oh
This
my God,
is true.
Pokemon might move to Instagram at last.
Or I might not be blocked by Wolf Glick anymore,
Exactly.
because
You
of
can take
Elon
them off
Musk.
the list.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily the First Amendment rights only apply to the US. So
The First Amendment
Good thing
rights
Wolfie
also
Glick is
don't
American.
say anything about blocking people on Twitter. Elon Musk is just a dickhead.
yes.
I mean, I've seen so many concerns about, people's safety being, detrimented because they can no longer, block their stalkers.
Yeah.
And I think, sitting here with Chris is really proof of that.
Wow. I just gave a nice compliment about him.
Yeah, stalkers are
Not
known
been
to
in
do
the
that.
allegations.
Chris, I just gave a nice comment about it. All I said was I like his skin and I'd like to wear it.
Look, to be honest, and I don't want to take we're not going on a huge tangent, but a slight tangent. I just want to say that I think I've been trying to get my campaign, my Wolfie Goes Down Under, hashtag Wolfie Goes Down Under, campaign to get Wolf to come to Perth Regionals this year. I feel like I've been too narrow-minded and I haven't been thinking big enough. Why just try and get Wolf Glick to Perth Regionals?
God.
Why not get other big names to Perth?
Oh, Jesus
And
Christ.
it got me thinking.
Ask Gavin Michael.
Well,
Apparently he's going to come and steal it from Australians.
Really?
it got me thinking because we have it on record. Perth local hero and Melbourne regional champion Kieran Singh,
Friend of the show.
friend of the show. He said that Alex Gomez was a very attractive man when he had to play him.
I mean, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is traditionally attractive as a man.
I think we should get Alex Gomez to Perth. That's my next target. Or any attractive player, really. I'm open to suggestions. Who would you like me to target next to
My
the campaign
suggestion is
to get big
don't.
players to Perth?
Yeah, I was going to say, please don't do it on behalf of the O2 drop.
James Beck. We just want to talk.
We just want to talk.
Yeah. Get him to come to Perth.
Alex Gomez, I don't just want to talk. Having been to Spain last year, I can safely say they are good in bed. So
Nice. God, it'd be really cool to get like an actual interesting player like
you're
Michael,
saying that we're not interesting?
like Michael DeBest or
Cal should be interesting, yeah.
Sebastian Escalante.
Kelsh has previously liked one of your tweets before. Maybe we can tweet at him, hashtag Kelsh goes down under.
Kelsh goes on down under. Who else? Who else is interesting?
I'd like to get Moxie boosted here. Hero.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like that.
Moxie boosted.
He seems like a cool guy, which we'll talk about more later.
Get Aaron Cybertron Zhang. That would be
No. Because then he could just break into powers and steal all my team sheets. And then I'd have the material for 100 videos then.
Hasn't he already done that though?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, he's got plenty of material. When's your birthday, Chris?
February. Why?
February.
What's your mother's
Just
maiden
asking.
name?
Oh. I'm not giving away any more information.
So my cat is just sitting in the other room. Speaking of pets, Chris, also, what was your first pet's name? And what street did you live on where you had it?
Oh my God.
What are the 3 digits on the back of your credit card?
They have to subscribe to bonus content to get this sort of information.
They do. You heard it here first. If you subscribe to the bottom cut, you'll be able to hack Chris's life. Just like Aaron Cybertron Zhang.
Or just follow me on Twitter and then you'll just see it all.
Yeah. Speaking of the bottom cut, we should shout out our most recent subscribers. So thank you to Matt Anderson and Jamie Hodge, just in case we haven't already shouted you out. Thank you for supporting the show. And if you're listening to us and want to do that as well, head to our Twitter and check out our bio for a link to where you can support us at our Buzzsprout page. We appreciate the support of everyone who has subscribed so far.
And please, I've thought if you haven't subscribed yet and you haven't, it's very scandalous bottom. It's a lot of bonus, no content, but I've got some really good horrible dating stories and sex stories to share on the next recording. So
Nice.
do subscribe if you want to hear that.
Mark, you
It's
had
gonna
a
be
really
scandalous.
good review from one of our subscribers for the bottom cut.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
So what was it? We're ripping ourselves off for $3 a month
Yeah. I was told that.
because we're funny as fuck, apparently.
Yes. So he also commended me on one of the stories I shared. And he said, quote unquote, Batman would not have been able to get that out of me. So, so shout out to Jamie Hodge for that extremely positive review. Thanks for letting us know. We greatly appreciate it.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show. What else is
Absolutely
happening
friend of the
in the Twitterverse, Chris? I don't have too much interesting stuff from this week, but I know you always have a collection of goodies for us.
Well, yeah, because of the amazing interview with the Hahn brothers last week. I was sort of a bit behind on the Twitter drama. So the one thing I forgot to bring up 2 weeks ago from Baltimore Regionals, I know this is a flashback, but dishonorable mention to Baltimore Regionals because the great Baltimore Regional Chair Massacre. Apparently the chairs at Baltimore Regional were so bad that so many people fell through the chairs or broke them.
fell through their chairs. Yeah.
One guy had to go to hospital and have surgery. He had to be stretched out of the venue and have
What
surgery.
on earth?
Yep.
And has now back damage. He's going to be able to sue them probably.
Imagine having to drop from a tournament because
Yeah.
you fall out of
People-
the chair.
I actually screenshotted people that were saying that they had to they hurt their back on a chair and had to drop. And it was like at least 3 people came up on my feed. So I don't know what they're doing, but dishonorable mention to the chairs at Baltimore. There was big drama with the Power World lawsuit. So
Oh, yes.
finally,
Yes,
Yeah.
finally.
so Joe Merrick from Cerebi sort of finally revealed that was happening and sort of said this is what they've been biding their time, building up a case, whatever. And then everyone kind of thought that it's because they've stolen the models and the Pokemon's characters or whatever, and they obviously had a lot of things that are very, very, very similar. And even people that worked on the game that it got fired early on sort of said, we were told to plagiarize as much as we could from the Pokemon. So
Yeah.
but the actual thing they're suing for, I think, is patent infringement. So it's the thing that,
Patent mechanics that
Yeah.
have been patented.
the ball catching, the 3, throwing a ball to catch the Pokemon and having the 3 wobbles before
Yeah.
it gets caught and all that. I think that's one of them.
Yeah. It was evolution, I think, was one of the patents. So the biggest amount of this that I've seen, I don't know if you guys have ever seen him on Twitter, but there's this guy called Thor, is what he goes by, and he was a developer at Blizzard for World of Warcraft.
Oh, yeah. I recognize his name.
Yeah, so he's a guy, and he talks about gaming in general and how games are developed, marketed, and whatever, but he's not a bro gamer where, they all shat on Concord because there was diverse characters. He is actually intelligent, and he has a big problem with this lawsuit. And
For the future of gaming purposes?
for the future of gaming purposes, the main thing being that the patents that have been infringed became patents after Power World was released. So Nintendo has retroactively patented mechanics for Pokemon games,
Okay.
and they're
then embarked on the suit. Yeah.
and they're suing in a Japanese court.
Okay, because I was going to say, in the US, you can very much do that. You can patent something that other people are doing, and so long as you get approved by the patent board, you can sue because this is now my patent.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
whoever patents it first.
But Japan, I don't know about.
But so the problem that they have with it, and I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but the problem is patenting a game mechanic.
Yes, yeah.
Like, why are we patenting a mechanic which people should be able to use mechanics?
Well, I've heard just in general that patenting a mechanic is just very difficult to do.
Yes, because you have to explain exactly how you do it, which tells
Yep.
people how to not do it. So they can do the same thing without doing exactly what you're doing.
Some of them, I get the ball catching thing. That's kind of very trademark Pokemon when you think about it. However, some of the ones that I heard about was like overworld mount riding, like mounting overworld creatures was one of the things they in the patents that is infringed. Aiming while like trying to catch something is something apparently that was in one of the patents as well. These all sound very
Relatively
vague.
Pokemon mechanics as well. Because
Because no baseball game has ever had aiming while throwing.
There's other like what about like Zelda? You can ride on horses. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I don't understand why.
Fucking World of Warcraft, man.
Yeah, and things like Monster Hunter come very close to some of the Pokemon stuff.
So I think, problematic because Nintendo has never ever lost a lawsuit that they've done in Japan. And obviously they're suing in a Japanese court. So I can't remember what Power World's developers are called. Ball guys or something like this. Ball pals. Something like that. Something that obviously is like Pokeball. But yeah, and like the fact that they're suing over mechanics instead of like actual plagiarism of design and stuff is quasi problematic. But obviously they've done what they can to build a case that they're going to win.
Well, this is they're probably, I don't know how much they can prove. If people have gone and looked at like the 3D modeling and they reckon there's pretty good evidence there that they've plagiarized designs. And some of them even look at them going, oh yeah, it's like the head of Superior with like the ears of Melodic with like, because some of it's just like it looks really obvious, but I don't know if that stands up in a court.
That Electivire looking thing that they were using as the number one
so
sprite that they were
maybe this is the way to get them is with like the patent infringement. Maybe that, because obviously Nintendo don't like their shit being stolen.
No,
they're really strict with that.
They're not a fan.
I'm surprised they haven't shut us down yet.
I mean, you look at all the simulators and the fan made games and hacks and the Pokemon Jenning, all that stuff gets really cracked down upon.
Yeah, 100%. So we know Nintendo's history with cracking down on Pokemon related infringements. So when Power World came out, everybody knew it was just a matter of time. It was more just how Nintendo going to do it. And honestly, I think they've done it in a way that is a slam dunk that is going to see Power World eradicated.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone still play Power World?
Apparently, its usage dropped off a cliff, but still pretty consistent.
Still has like
10,000
a following.
daily
Wow.
users.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it was at like 2.5 million daily.
There was hype at the start, but still 10,000 users a day.
I mean, No Man's Sky still hits like 25,000. So
Really? Okay. Yeah.
That's
okay.
a
That's
game
obscure
that
as
got
fuck.
better
Yeah.
over time, though.
Another big Twitter drama
hit us.
is the return of Neil Patel to
I was
YouTube.
about to mention that.
Yeah, and I know Mark's got a lot to say about this. AKA
much.
Nelly Patel, as we like to call him on the show.
We have some screenshots from comments in his first video back. And
For context,
if you've lived under a rock,
yeah, he did post he did tweet like another big apology thing recently. And it really divides the community because he's actually got like these like very loyal yes men, blind followers who just like worship him as a god. He's
so many of them,
and they're like, oh, no one puts out content like you, and you're the best YouTuber, and no one explains stuff like you do and builds teams like you do, and all this stuff. And I get the fandom, and then there's the other people who are like, hang on, like we don't really want people like him in our community. It makes people feel uncomfortable, blah blah. And everyone's had a weigh in on this, and then out of the blue, like 5 months after he's posted like his last video, at least. Because he obviously dropped out of the competitive scene, didn't go to Worlds, didn't go to NIRC. last season. He's just posted that a Regulation H tier list out of the blue, like, over an hour long.
Yeah, it was a huge
It's like
video.
a 70-minute video.
Yeah, and then like doesn't address anything, and then he's like, I'll touch on that at the end of the video kind of thing, and then like the last 90 seconds of the video, he brings up like, oh yeah, sorry, like I gaslit all those people, and like not gaslit, sorry,
Harassed.
no, what's the when you like pretend to be someone else? Catfished. Sorry,
Catfish,
sorry for all the catfishing behavior I did. That's wrong. Yeah, and sorry, like. I've educated myself on trans rights, blah, 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 blah.
Sorry for being a transphobic fuck.
It was really, really weird that he like tacked that on there. But he also said like, oh, like I'm not going to go really come back to YouTubing. I'm going to focus on his degree that he's studying, his college degree or whatever, is quite time consuming. He hasn't got time to do proper YouTubing. He's going to still play competitive Pokemon. He loves the game, and then he's just going to focus on his studies. He's not going to do regular YouTubing. I reckon I call bullshit. I reckon this was a litmus test
Yeah.
to see what the reaction would be like.
To see if his yes men are still around, and they absolutely are.
Oh, in droves.
And the thing I really got upset about before Mark reads out some of his comments is the fact that there were people posting. He was definitely deleting some comments that were negative about him and leaving all like the positive ones because people were like proved that their comment had been deleted.
Yeah.
And he didn't delete any of the big YouTubers that commented on his thing. They didn't delete that because it's too obvious. But he just deleted the nobodies. But he left all these horrible transphobic comments on the comments thing. And then in the video when he was ranking Amoongus on the Reg H tier list, he put Amoongus up with a big trans rights flag behind it. And I thought, dude, like you are not someone who can like, now advocate for trans rights. Like it was so cringe when like all his fan base comments were all just transphobic and he wasn't deleting them. And then he goes and puts a trans flag on Amoongus. I just thought it was really cringy and it just looked like messy. And I was like, oh, you should just like give up the YouTubing thing. You've got a job. You can play Pokemon really well. Go to events, play Pokemon. Don't have to like be a presence.
Be quiet.
Yeah.
Yes.
A couple of people literally did post like go away as their comment.
But before Mark reads out some of these comments, I just want to say those people obviously don't listen to this show because we would tell them to fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
But if you see these people making these comments, definitely tell them that they're wrong because they are fucking exhausting to listen to and read. Like these people are they're like 12-year-old boys that play Call of Duty and shout the N-word.
I don't think they're like that. I think a lot of them are just that.
Yeah.
And the F word.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not the fuck word, the bad one. We all shout that F word. Do you remember the first episode when you told us to avoid swearing and we all tried very hard not to have potty mouths? And now
I just mark every episode with explicit content.
Yeah, because you had Sliff on the first episode. And like the first sentence is, fuck this and fuck Philip Bragg.
Fuck James Beck.
Yeah.
I was trying so hard to self-censor myself that first episode and now I'm just like, let's fucking go, boys. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of scrolling through these comments. I'm not even going to read half of them out because it's just blatant transphobia.
Absolute bio.
And I'm not going to make our listeners sit through that.
I think the main ones are where these people are going. Neil did nothing wrong.
The Neil
Don't
did
listen
nothing
to the
wrong is a
haters.
recurring thing here. I've got never apologize, please. You did nothing wrong. Let's go, Neil. Glad you're back. Don't let the hate get to you. Keep saying just your opinion, which I think this person's trying to say. Keep giving us your opinion. It's just an opinion. Therefore, it's fine to say, which is wrong. Glad you're back. Ignore the woke agenda. I thought they had successfully bullied you out of the VGC
nothing
world.
more than people saying the woke agenda.
Yeah, it's
like you are just a talking point. Like
Are you guys
you don't
coming
have
to
you don't have an original thought in your head. You're just like listening to Fox News and repeating the shit they say.
Are you guys coming to the woke meeting, the committee meeting next Thursday where we discuss
Is it on Thursdays?
Next Thursday. Yeah.
I thought it was Wednesdays.
No, they moved it to Thursdays because Wednesdays were really offensive.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Yeah.
Where's there? Wasn't there? I don't know if you're not reading this out deliberately, but like, where was the? When's the toxic trans?
Oh, the big one. Yeah. I was building to that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call this person out by name. So dishonorable mention to Goron Jojo. Cool name, bro. This person had an anime profile picture on YouTube, so you can tell they've just got some stellar opinions. Cool.
Yeah.
Probably lives in a basement.
Yeah.
Never been out of it.
I really miss your content. It just so fucking... As you can kind of tell, to go with the rest of their intelligence, the grammar on this is appalling. So I'm trying to do the best I can. It just so fucking messed up that this toxic trans community made you quit. I mean, shout out, fucking trans community. Am I right? Just with toxic traits
So
like
toxic.
wanting to be left alone.
I think
How fucking dare they?
I think this like Neil and his yes men are like a really great example of the paradox of tolerance, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is like, to be a tolerant society, you have to be intolerant of intolerance.
Intolerant of the intolerant, yeah.
And these people who are intolerant get called out and they're like,
So much for the tolerant left.
yeah. But you mean I'm allowed to have an opinion.
Yeah. Hey,
It's like if I called you a cunt to your face, you'd probably be pretty upset, especially because you're most likely an American.
and I think
So proof that words have power, dipshit.
I do want to get to a comment from one of our favorite content creators. But this guy, he continues, there's like another paragraph sucking Neil's dick. And it's like, it's still
Ironic,
sad
really.
that you choose the feelings of your haters over your supportive viewers. That just sucks, but you do you. Neil did nothing wrong, all in caps. It's like this whole concept of how dare you have a shred of decency and potentially take a step back after doing a significant amount of harm to a community because I want to consume YouTube content.
Yeah.
It's like, I think these people, they lack the brain cells to realize, the harm that, I mean, when you look through the comments on these videos, it just really emboldens the people who are just spewing transphobic filth, just kind of, it's like that, all the nonsense about, you hear about trans people. And they're just emboldened by Neil's video in which he apologizes for transphobia. Like, if that's what's bringing them out of the woodwork when he's apologizing for it, what do you think they're like when he's posting that original content? So, like, words have meaning, and they cause, words can cause bad things to happen. Look at Hitler.
And again, the fact that these comments are still visible on the video is
and
tantamount to tacit endorsement.
Yeah, the fact that he's gone and deleted.
Theoretically, he was deleting. People seem to believe that he was deleting comments calling him out.
Yes.
I didn't see that happen personally, but I heard from several people that was something that was happening. So clearly, he was deleting comments, but he wasn't deleting comments from his supporters, even though they go against what he is now supposedly espousing, which is that he's totally tolerant of trans rights and, going to educate himself on everything. But so long as it's like, we love you, Neil, you did nothing wrong, and then a bunch of transphobic bullshit, I think that kind of, is a testament to standard YouTuber apology and the kind of the sincerity of it.
I was going to say, he's literally one step short of a ukulele at this point.
Oh, Jesus
We'll
Christ.
see if he gets enough views from this to get because once that YouTube money starts coming back again, he might get. Well, I don't reckon this will be his last video.
No, God, no.
Absolutely not. But speaking of YouTubers who are absolutely quality, our friend Moxie Boosted.
Friend of the show.
Michael Perez.
Yep. Stellar human being, left a comment on the video, which was less likely to be deleted because it would have been very noticeable if it went missing. He says, a lot of people were hurt by your actions and words. Being a figure in this community requires you to have a level of respect for people that it seems you just weren't capable of 6 months ago. I'm glad you took time off to reflect and grow, reflect and grow, but I'm also glad you decided to step down basically altogether. I think it would have been best to open with that, though. A whole video leading up to 90 seconds briefly discussing why you left the platform doesn't come across well. You never hurt me, so it's not my place to forgive you or not, but a lot of my friends were extremely disappointed. Wishing you the best moving forward, hoping you can grow as a person.
Fantastic.
I think he just touches on a really good point there about a lot of people being hurt by the actions and words, because I think a lot of the, and I'm going to be generous here, I'm not just talking about the mouth breathers in his comments, but I think just like a lot of people misunderstand, when we kind of call out behaviors like his. When we say this is offensive behavior, we're not just saying, oh, it hurt my feelings. What we're saying is words like this embolden other people to behave negatively in ways that can be genuinely harmful, especially to communities very marginalized communities such as the trans community, up to and including like, violence against these communities because these people have been emboldened usually by comedians. Or YouTubers or politicians or these kind of like these figureheads who are saying things and they're covering with, oh, well, that's just my opinion.
That normalizes the sentiment. And
it normalizes the sentiment, exactly. So this is not a case of, I'm sad because you said something offensive to me. This is like, these are harmful words and harmful words lead to harmful actions.
Like when Trump incited the crowd and they went just like, raided the Capitol building because of words, know.
That one guy who got like attacked at a Trump rally because Trump essentially made a joke about them doing that.
Yeah.
These things, they spiral out of control. If you have a platform, you have a ethical obligation, a moral obligation to use your platform. I mean, I'm going to fucking Spider-Man it, but with great platform comes great responsibility.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You have an obligation to not be a cunt.
Yeah,
is what it comes down
it's
to.
Like you are responsible for anything that comes of your platform.
Mm-hmm.
I want to round off this section by speaking about another really, really actually good PokeTuber who had a horse in this race and had a very, very good take on the whole situation.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have watched anything from Cecily before. Cecilly. She's a trans woman from Brazil who creates video essays that basically use Pokemon as a jumping off point for a whole bunch of progressive
Just
politics.
a quick question. Is there such a thing as a cis YouTuber who makes video essays? I feel like all video essayists are trans.
I mean, all of the best ones are trans.
Okay, fair enough.
I have
You have to come from a place of hurt to be really good at doing essays.
Absolutely.
There's probably an element of truth to that, yeah.
No, I do have a special place in my heart for trans women video essayists. They are just all excellent. But no, Cecily is fantastic in particular because she has a very, very strong Pokemon bent to everything she says. Like I said, she uses Pokemon and the goings on of Pokemon as a jumping off point to talk about some really, really prescient, progressive political topics. And I think that her video on her two videos actually on the whole Neo VGC situation were really, really insightful and very, very good. So yeah, check out Cecily. I think she's excellent. Friend of the show.
Cool. Will do.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to finish on something lighter? I feel like we've brought down the mood a lot. We got quite heavy here.
I also want to say that trans people are, in fact, an outsized proportion of the VGC community. So I think that the actions and words of somebody like Neil Patel are anathemic in a way to the community as it truly actually is.
Yeah, it
even in Perth, we have a great many trans men and trans women within our competitive circuit. Shout out to Sebi Widdowson, friend of the show.
It was on a couple of weeks ago.
Previous guest.
I mean, I think that, once again, it kind of comes back to the issue of these people with a platform is Pokemon and TPCI and, these other organizations that run these events, despite many flaws, do quite a lot of work to make their scenes genuinely inclusive and safe.
Yes.
For and a lot of places kind of and especially in my line of work, I see a lot of employers who kind of wave the flag of, oh, we're so inclusive and, pride, woo, hashtag LGBTQIA plus, woo. And then they don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
And they just say we're inclusive.
They just have a rainbow for Pride Month.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bit of a funny story. One time I was trying to help out a young girl whose dead name was still coming up on her employee system. So when she logged on, it had her dead name on it. And I was trying to contact HR people and they were saying, oh, that's fine. We've already sorted her out with a new name badge. So that's fine. And we've told people in the workplace to call her by the right name. And they just weren't getting that, like, every time she logged on, she saw her dead name and that it was a problem for her.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, of the email is like one of those, generic signatures that said, "I am an LGBTQIA plus ally."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, the fuck you're not."
Because you're not listening.
You're not. You're just kind of refusing to help an actual person in the community. But yeah, I will say to their credit, TPCI do a lot of really good work to make their communities genuinely inclusive and snuffing out this kind of bullshit behavior.
Yeah, I mean, then like Australia's number one VGC judge is a non-binary person.
Yes, yeah. And then when people like Neil Patel come along and they kind of, I guess, become a beacon of this kind of shitty behavior, it creates a haven and like a kind of like a nest and even, I guess you could call it a safe space for these sorts of people to kind of like flourish where previously they're getting stamped out.
Yeah.
And I think that the impact of that would be more directly felt in a community such as this that is so inclusive and has such a large slice of the pie, such a large cross-section of trans competitors and fans and spectators.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, some of our best players are trans individuals.
Absolutely, here and worldwide.
Yeah, for sure.
I should apologize for my laugh because I thought you were going down the line of saying that like Neil Patel was creating a safe space for hate. And I was like laughing pretty.
I mean, that's basically what's happening. Yeah, it is. I agree with the laugh. It's super ironic.
The irony of it is just,
but
like, so big.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, we won't ever see him on stream again. That's for sure. The Pokemon company only refers to him now as Wolfie's opponent. That is what is forever going to be called now.
Wolfie's opponent. Yeah.
Oh, that's like the unstoppable force versus an immovable object. Is like when Wolfie's on stream against Neil Patel. Do they put it on stream or not?
I have something lighter.
Oh, please God!
Shout outs. This is the summary. This is basically an accurate summary of Dortmund. Is it the Dortmund regionals? This is the Andrew Armstrong at Andy Bakes YT on Twitter made reference to the infamous Karen quote: "Strong Pokemon, weak Pokemon. That is only the selfish perception of people. Truly skilled trainers hit the dire claw sleep." And I thought that was a perfect summary of Dortmund.
Fantastic.
Reg H has just become Claw Sleep.
Misty train on your grim, kids.
Yeah. Well, listeners, thank you very much for joining us again. We appreciate your support and would love for you to be around for our next episode. As we touched on earlier, definitely hit us up on Twitter and check out our subscription page if you are interested in supporting the show.
Or just if you're interested in listening to us talk some absolute unhinged shit.
Yes.
We get very sexual very quickly.
Look, and we have had some actual content in our bonus content.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally. It is a wild time. It is uncensored and it is very minimally edited. So you get a great insight to how we think.
The next episode of bonus content, I will be asking the tough questions such as, do Go-Goat eat each other?
Oh, because they're made out of grass.
Think about it.
Food for thought.
And also, if you are a competitive player in another country, please do come to Perth Regionals. We want to get big numbers in oceanic regions. I mean, obviously lose to us deliberately if you can, but still come.
Chris immediately gets banned.
No, please do come and travel to Perth. We want some big name players to come to Perth and put Perth on the map. Obviously, we don't want Neil Patel. We don't want Aaron Traylor.
No, please, Neil Patel, come to Perth. We'd love to be in the same room as you.
We just want to have a chat.
Yeah.
We don't want Aaron Traylor, who obviously committed one of the greatest atrocities in human history by eliminating friend of the show, Kieran Singh from Worlds.
No,
Aaron
you say Aaron Traylor don't come to Perth. I'm sure Kieran wants his rematch.
Oh, that's a good point.
Not on stream as well, so he doesn't have the stream nerves.
I will throw tomatoes at him.
Yeah. Any international guests that come to Perth, just know that we throw an incredible after party and you will.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, just know we throw incredibly hard. I was going to agree with you, yeah.
No, we throw incredible after parties.
Oh, the
and
after parties are sick.
if you are an international guest at Perth Regionals, you will definitely get shouted at least one round.
We will treat you well.
You get treated really well.
If you are a person that dabbles in alcoholic beverages. So keep it in mind for December. It's a great place to be, great beaches, great people, great tournament.
Yeah. And come say hi.
Yeah. Get some O2 merch. Maybe we'll have some. Until next time. Excuse me.
Please tell me we're not recording this.
I have bad news.
No, it's not red. It's a red when it's recording, isn't it? Oh, you are. Shit. Are you not going to run out of space on your drives and shit?
No, I reset it.
All right, keep recording your
keeping
burping
everything.
then.
Yeah. That's the premium content.
That's disgusting.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
The older I get, the more disgusting I find that. As a kid, I used to have burping competitions and win,
Nice.
by the way. You got to do a thing where you suck
swallow
air
air,
into your
yeah.
gut. Yeah. And then you get some real good burps.
We should, for bonus content, do the Sprite challenge one day.
What's the Sprite challenge?
It's where you just drink Sprite as quick as you can without burping.
Sounds like a terrible.
I reckon I'll be pretty good at that. I subsist on this shit, right? I'm pretty good at consuming
How
something.
do you have Coke at this time of night and still sleep?
Oh, I won't sleep.
Okay. Do you